5, 4, 3, 2, 1. KenCast.
Hey everyone, welcome to a very special Independence Day KenCast. I hope you're all doing well. From all our viewers to all our viewers across the world. This weekend in the United States is Independence Day, the 4th of July. We celebrate our independence with great respect for every other country in the world. But this is a very America-centric holiday. And it's a holiday that's very much enjoyed by our favorite character, Terry Silver. Now, for those of you who maybe clicked on this link and don't know who Terry Silver is, he's a character we were introduced to in the movie Karate Kid Part 3. And if you haven't seen Karate Kid Part 3, just know that Terry Silver is this unique character that embodies all of these traits. Some might call him a villain, but I think that ignores some of the best qualities of Terry Silver, things that we can admire about Terry Silver. Now, I don't have to tell you that I'm a Terry Silver fan, but today I wanted to engage in this conversation with all of you on this special weekend to talk about what's great about Terry Silver and how he embodies the American dream. So today we're going to launch into a great in-depth conversation. We're going to have kind of just this relaxed reflection of who Terry Silver is and what he means to us. So I'm looking forward to all your comments in the chat. I'm so glad that you're all watching this today so we can celebrate in grand style. It's just going to be me today. And I think the first thing we need to do, as usual, is launch into some news.
KenCast News.
All right, here we go. Now, for those people who are Cobra Kai fans, if you haven't seen Cobra Kai, you got to check it out. It's one of the best shows on TV. It's probably my favorite show right now. But right now, we're kind of in a lull. We're waiting for the September 9th premiere of season 5. If you haven't seen Cobra Kai, you can watch all 4 seasons, binge them right now. But for those of us who've watched them all multiple times, we're eagerly waiting for September 9th. So right now, maybe due to like the Stranger Things Part 2 launch on Netflix, we're kind of in a lull right now. So we don't have too much news, but we do have some. So the first thing I want to bring up is Kai Tunes. Okay, our friend Drew, the Cobra Kai Kid, okay, he has his own YouTube channel, he has launched kind of like this fan cartoon series, and it's really funny. Check it out right now. You can go to the Cobra Kai Kid YouTube channel, and he has the first 3 cartoons uploaded now. He has voice talent, interesting voice talent. He's got even Brianna from Cobra Kai Cobra Kai Companion playing a therapist. And check it out now. Very cool, very creative work from Drew. Now, Drew, last week, I was very pleased to spend some time with him. We were actually shooting kind of the behind the scenes of them Cobra Kai Enter the Dojo concert with Leo Bierenberg and Zach Robinson, the composers of the Cobra Kai show, with an appearance by Vince DiCola and his band. And Vince DiCola was the composer of Rocky IV, Transformers the movie. He worked on Staying Alive. Very iconic sound that inspired Zach and Leo for their work on Cobra Kai. So Drew came down to LA and we decided to kind of film the whole thing behind the scenes. You're going to be seeing more in the future about that. But here's a shot of me and Drew, the Cobra Kai Kid, in front of a very famous pool. And I posted this on Twitter. You can follow me on social media at Kennergy Cole. But I posted this on Twitter asking, what is this? This is a very famous pool. And a lot of you replied that this is Daniel's pool, and it is. This is Daniel's apartment, and we're right outside his pool, and it's the first time I'd ever been in there. So it was really kind of wild being there, and I have video and stuff. I'll be sharing that with you in the future. But I'll show you just some pictures from last week. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so I'm there kind of in between Zach Robinson with the skull shirt, and Leo Bierenberg is next to the Cobra Kai kid. And then that's their band. And so we were there during the rehearsal for this concert, and it was wild, guys, just being able to listen to this stuff, listen to this music being played just right there in just this intimate rehearsal setting in Hollywood, preparing for the big show. It was an incredible show too. Here's the actual show date. Here's me and I was trying to be as inconspicuous as possible with my camera, trying to get some of the behind the scenes setup stuff. Drew, Cobra Kai kid, took this. Now, here I am in front of the poster wall. And for those of you who are fans of Cobra Kai and fan artwork, probably one of the greatest artists that's working on Cobra Kai material is Let's Be Water, Mark Kerr. Just an incredible artist. And he actually did the poster for, I don't know if you can see behind me on the wall there, Cobra Cole, my short film Cobra Cole. You got to check it out if you're a Terry fan. But he's done so much Cobra Kai artwork, and he did the poster for this concert, this Enter the Dojo concert. And I was just so excited. If you can see right there, I'm pointing to his name by Be Water Creative. And so he really set the visual tone of this. He's in the UK, and so we wish we could bring him. In fact, I want to bring him to the United States. Just he needs to go to some of these concerts. He needs to experience them because he is one of the biggest fans out there and an inspiration to me. And he's a huge Terry Silver fan, guys. So yes. Now here you might recognize these guys. So I'm on the right, and then on the left is Brian Fishback, who you saw. We did a KenCast about the music of Cobra Kai, and he's a journalist, a music journalist. And so he was there at the concert. And then the middle is Christine. You know her as Tig Daily on Twitter, a super fan of Thomas Ian Griffith, an expert on him and his movies. And she's been on this KenCast as well. So they were both there. So it's always great to see them. And okay, so this is the concert, and this is at the end when Joe Esposito, he's on the right in the hat, is singing "You're the Best Around." Okay, and then on the left you see Leo Bierenberg. He's playing an interesting instrument called the keytar, and it's like a wind instrument, but he can make it sound however he wants, like whatever instrument he wants. And then in the middle, on stage with the guitar, is Zach Robinson. So those are the two composers of Cobra Kai. And then down in the front with the headband, that is Drew, the Cobra Kai kid, who was very, very excited. So that's that was just a lot of fun. This is Vince DiCola. So just an iconic composer, really inspiring guy too. I mean, we shot this actually 2 amazing interviews with Vince DiCola as well. And it's incredible just how much his work inspired Zach and Leo, and Mary Mauser. A lot of people from the show were there, so I got to see Mary Mauser. It's very cool, very nice, and she was very excited, dancing in and around the mosh pit. I think she was really into the concert. Gianni, seeing him again, very cool. He's pretty funny. Always funny, great guy, so nice. All these people are so nice. So this is in front of Let's Be Water's posters. That's Vince DiCola on the left, and Leo Bierenberg and Zach Robinson. Very fun. That's me and Joe Esposito. Really amazing to meet him. He's super nice as well. And then here's me and Josh Heald, one of the showrunners, co-creators of Cobra Kai. Hayden Schlossberg was there too, but he disappeared too quickly. I couldn't get a picture of him, but it was amazing saying hi to all these guys. Super nice. So that was fun. Now, another bit of news is I want to let you guys know about a new video. I'm still working on it. It's big. It's going to be my biggest analysis video so far, and it is kind of a cross analysis of Star Wars and Cobra Kai. I think it's unique. I don't think anyone's quite done this before. So definitely, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you can be updated for whenever this releases or any other content releases. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I threw this in here too. If you're a fan of Bigfoot, if you're wondering if Bigfoot's real, I have in the description a link to my short film, Bigfoot and Me, which should be humorous and touching and should give you an idea of what it might be like to encounter Bigfoot. So anyway, go ahead and check that out. And then I want to say hi to all you guys in the chat. Gabe says that guy's so freaking talented. And I know you're talking about the Let's Be Water and Mark Kerr. And yes, it's amazing how he can keep us inspired and excited for the Cobra Kai series, even if there's sort of a marketing lull like we're experiencing now. Hayden's a ninja. You know, here's the thing. I know as a fact that Hayden is a huge fan of Terry Silver. And I know that he has said that he looks up to Terry Silver as a role model. And so I have to believe that Hayden has skills, martial arts skills, special ops skills that might allow him to behave like a ninja. And, you know, he was pretty skillful at the concert. He was kind of moving in and out of the crowd, and then he sort of like disappeared without a trace. And so Hayden is a genius creatively, and I think he might have the skills of a ninja. I think you might be right, detective. Mario, hi Mario, how you doing? Elizabeth, very excited to see this. I love both. Thank you very much. Thank you. Peter says the best love story since Johnny and Daniel. Yes, I totally agree. Peter is the spearhead talent behind the Cobra Kai Companion podcast. Definitely check that out, guys. If you haven't heard it, it's just full of amazing Cobra Kai content, interviews with everyone associated with the show. It's really, really fantastic. Here's Aaron. How you doing, Aaron? It's good to have you here today. Mario says, have you seen Cobra Kai Kids Kai Tunes? Yeah. Yes, actually, yes. We just talked about that. And everyone who hasn't seen Kai Tunes, go ahead and check them out. I always love to see comedy, creative content. And Drew has just so much creativity and passion for Cobra Kai. And he's created or co-created these amazing cartoons. Check them out on his channel, Cobra Kai Kid. And we're going to hope to have Drew on here as soon as the schedule allows, and we can kind of talk about everything a bit more. Philomena says, I hate Terry Silver with a passion, but I can't ignore how brilliant Thomas is. It's true. And there are two levels here. Obviously, Thomasine Griffith is an incredible acting talent, incredible talent beyond acting. He's got, you know, he's a writer, he's a producer, he's a musician. He's, I think he's a straight up artist. I think he has some artwork coming out, and he's just an incredible talent. And I don't think anyone else could have ever played Terry Silver. And I don't think that character would have worked nearly as well if we didn't have Thomasine Griffith playing Terry Silver. Now, the character of Terry Silver, though, I'm hoping, Philomena, if you're watching today, as we all talk about our appreciations of Terry Silver, maybe you'll change your mind. Terry Silver, sure, he's not perfect, but who of us is perfect, right? So watch today with an open mind, and hopefully you'll see how many other people admire the character of Terry Silver. I can confirm Hayden speaks in Terry Silver quotes. Yes. And it's a very specific language, speaking in Terry Silver quotes. And those of us who do it really key in. I can admire people who do. So yeah, Hayden's very talented and knowledgeable about Terry Silver. Hello, Kenny boy. How you doing, Javi? Good to see you. Melissa Bonsai. Good to see you, Melissa. So I think we've kind of gone through our news for today. So I want to kind of launch into our main discussion about Terry Silver.
KenCast discussion.
Okay. So before we talk about Terry Silver, I think it's really important to take a look at who he is. Now, if you've watched Karate Kid 3 or Cobra Kai, that's one side of who he is, right? Sure, he's this rich guy, kind of nebulously rich guy who is taking over a chain of dojos. You know, maybe you think he's not being totally honest about how he won the All Valley tournament in season 4. I can't fault you for that, but it's important to take a step back and look at the totality of Terry Silver. And I want to play for you a very important promotional piece. And actually, right before I do that, I want to go to Drew, Cobra Kai Kid. Hey, Ken, I just want to pop in and say hi. I can't wait to talk about the concert together sometime soon. Absolutely. So we're going to be looking forward to seeing Drew on the KenCast talking about the concert and Kai Tunes. So you guys go ahead and check out Kai Tunes as well. Good to see you, Drew. We'll talk to you soon. But now let's get back to Terry Silver. I want to play something for you, just a piece that gives a hint at the world beyond what we've seen of Terry Silver and who he is as a person, and maybe a hint at his admirable qualities. So I'm going to play a little video for you, and I'll talk to you on the flip side.
The pollution crisis facing our planet is nothing new. In 1974, business visionary and war veteran Terence Silver founded Dynatox. He dedicated his life to fighting the challenges posed by pollution and toxic waste, to preserve the American way of life. Terence Silver stood up to all enemies of the environment, whether adversaries abroad or corrupt bureaucracy at home. Under the guidance of Terence Silver, Dynatox became the industry leader, bringing thousands of jobs to Americans and people across the globe. Most of all, Dynatox has given us the gift of clean water, fertile land, and fresh air for generations to come. Dynatox. Paid for by Coal Associates for a Clean America.
There you go. Now that is a truly impartial look at the other side of Terry Silver that we haven't seen before. And you can see, even in that clip, how much he's given to America and how much he believes in America and wants to support America. And, the better America does, the better the world does, right? So today, I'm going to put this challenge to you. I'm just going to throw this question up there. How has Terry Silver inspired you to be a better person? I want to leave that up there, because I think it's important for all of us out there who've been positively affected by Terry Silver to share, to let the world know that he's not so bad. In fact, he's someone admirable, someone we should look up to. So I'm looking forward to hearing about all the ways Terry Silver has positively affected your life. So, here we go. Aurelio, best villains of the 80s. Number 1, Zod in Superbad 2. Number 2, Richard Dawson in The Running Man. And number 3, Terence Silver. Absolutely. I might put Terence Silver at number 1. But the fact that you put him in the top 3, I think speaks volumes. And remember why, we talk about villains. Okay. What makes Terry Silver a villain, right? He just wants something. He thinks something would be good for himself or the country or for a lot of people, right? But there's someone else out there that just wants something different or wants something else, right? And so if we think that other person is our friend, we tend to look at Terry Silver as a villain. But what happens if we become friends with Terry Silver? What if we get on board with his worldview, right? We start to see how powerful he is, how many admirable qualities he has, and really how we best can serve ourselves and our country by emulating Terry Silver. Hobby says, Terry Silver for president. Yeah. I mean, think of what would happen if Terry Silver were president, right? Imagine what he could do, right? We already know politicians are dirty. But so Terry doesn't have to be perfect, but look at everything he brings to the table. He brings super intelligence. He brings world knowledge, okay? Experience in business, in success. He knows how to deal with people who would be enemies. Like, can you imagine what would happen if an enemy of the United States threatened us with Terry Silver as president? Imagine that. I mean, you'd have a president who could probably solo do a special ops incursion into an enemy country and take out anyone. I mean, how amazing would that be for a president, right? Okay, Aurelio says, using the Quicksilver method, I got an upper management job and still rising up the corporate ladder. Well, isn't that wonderful? That's great. See, these are the stories that are inspiring. And a lot of people have problems with the Quicksilver method. You know, in Karate Kid 3, if you remember the Quicksilver method, it has 3 components. A man can't stand, he can't fight. A man can't breathe, he can't fight. And a man can't see, he can't fight. And he was trying to train Daniel LaRusso, you know, the hero, of these very core principles of fighting. And he was pretty hard on Daniel. But Daniel pulled it off in the end. He was able to do it. But think about that. It's true. The Quicksilver method is absolutely true. And, you know, Aurelio says that he used the Quicksilver method to get an upper management job. I don't know what job that is. And it's probably like, if he used that method literally, it's lucky that no one pressed charges. But, you know, the important thing is it works, right? So that's inspiring. Thank you, Aurelio. I appreciate it. Melissa says, I learned from him that you judge a book by its cover and to beware the snake in the grass. Right. So, you know, and I love the imagery of books. Look how Terry Silver uses books in Karate Kid 3. Okay. He's obviously read a lot of books. He's very smart. He's intelligent. He's educated. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, he offers Daniel a book, right? He offers Daniel a book on front sweeps, a whole book on front sweeps. That's very specific, you know, so he's a believer in passing knowledge through books. Okay. But look at what he did with that book. When Mike Barnes was bullying Daniel, he used that book, right, as a weapon. Remember he held that book up to Mike Barnes's face. He's like, see this, punch. So Terry Silver is very creative and he knows the power of books. So, you know, and beware the snake in the grass. And I think Terry's response to a snake in the grass would be, well, I'm going to outsnake the snake in the grass, right? If someone thinks they're a snake in the grass, well, watch out, because I'm the king cobra in the grass, right? So, yeah, hopefully this season they tell us what happened with Dynatox. You know, yeah, it would be great to know what happened with Dynatox, but I think we can be comfortable knowing that whatever Terry's done, it's successful. I mean, look at what's happened. Ever since, the only hiccup in Terry's success was, you know, the appearance of John Kreese. You know, it's John Kreese kind of pulling him down. But once John Kreese kind of left the picture and got his emotional baggage out of the way, Terry Silver bounced back. I mean, he retired comfortably, and now he's completing the last thing that he needs to do because he's so rich and so powerful, so successful. The only thing he didn't do was establish a chain of dojos in the San Fernando Valley. So that's what he's doing now. You know, it's on his bucket list. So that's great. But I have full confidence that Terry Silver's Dynatox was an eminent success. And all of those horrible things people say about Dynatox, that it was illegally dumping toxic waste or doing something bad, you know, that's overstated, right? So Ethan says, I wonder if Terry knows he's a psychopath like you say he is. Perhaps he thrives off of that belief. Yes, thank you, Ethan. I did do a video on is Terry Silver a psychopath? And definitely check that out, because that is a deep dive into the character of Terry Silver. And I think brings up a lot of interesting points. You know, if he is a psychopath, you know, obviously, you know, we don't think of psychopaths as, you know, great. You know, some psychopaths do horrible things, but you know, other psychopaths, you know, they're meant to be leaders, right? We see them, you know, as I say in the video, some of them rise up the corporate ladder. They're often very charming. You know, they can be very organized, and not all of them are violent. Not all of them. And I think Terry Silver's one that's able to kind of rein in the violence. He's not typically violent, but you know, if he needs to be violent, he's successful at being violent. So right. I don't know if he knows he is. But that would be great. I'd love to ask him. And for those of you, I know I had that screenshot of Terry Silver with the microphone in front of the American flag. That was the thumbnail for this video. And just to let you know, I have that video of Terry Silver singing America. It's great. It's inspiring. But he wouldn't let me show that video. I don't know. It's some kind of business conflict of interest, but it's amazing. The guy's an amazing singer. So that's a lot of people don't know about him. He really is. So I hope in season 5 we get to see Terry Silver singing, just belting it out. It's because that's something that wins you over when you hear Terry Silver singing. It's great. Okay, let's see. Ben says every business goes through a slump at one point or another. That's absolutely true. And that's wisdom from Terry Silver, and it's reassurance for us. And, Ben, I think you're saying, this could be inspirational to you. It's businesses, our own lives, our own country can go through slumps, but it's not a reason to get down. So that's another great point. Another reason why Terry Silver's inspiring, at least to me. Elizabeth asks, what is Terry going to do after he's completed his bucket list by opening all these dojos? That's a really great question. And I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to him opening these dojos and being completely successful in season 5 of Cobra Kai, and then wondering what's next. I have to believe that someone like Terry Silver would be interested in changing the world for the better. He was reading Leviathan by Hobbes. I'm wondering what would happen, just spitballing here. What would happen if Terry Silver were running the world? I mean, just think about it. Think about it for a minute. There a lot could happen. A lot of good things could happen. Think about that. Yeah. Frank says, I appreciate that Terry Silver taught us men special places to hide, like a fireplace. Yes, because he knew that sometimes men need to get west from it all. So thank you, Terry. Okay. Yeah, Frank, thank you very much. And I think that's something we can benefit from. Obviously, he learned how to hide in his training, his special forces training. One place is a fireplace. So I know that you probably never thought of hiding in a fireplace, but maybe you should check out your house. If it has a fireplace, try to crawl up it. See if that's a viable place for you to hide in case you need to, or another thing is if you need to, due to circumstances beyond your control, if you need to break and enter into some kind of establishment, scope out the fireplace and see if that's a place where, maybe you could hide from law enforcement. I'm not recommending that in any way, but, let's see. Melissa says, oh, okay, hang on. What do you think is his relationship with Sensei Kim? It's interesting. We don't know exactly what's going on with Sensei Kim right now. I did make a video where I think that it's very possible that Kim Da-eun is related to Kim Sun-young of South Korea. And Kim Sun-young was the master that Terry Silver mentions in Karate Kid Part 3 as being the head of his school, and that John Kreese and Terry Silver were students of Kim Sun-young. And so I think it's very possible that Kim Da-eun is related to Kim Sun-young. And if that's true, she could very well also be a master of this style that gave birth to Cobra Kai. And that would be interesting for me because I'm curious as to where the style of Cobra Kai came from, the lore of the style, what happened. Was Kreese really the best student? Did Terry go back and train after the war, continue training with Master Kim Sun-young? Is that how he knows that family? So I'm thinking it's fairly probable that she's related to Kim Sun-young. So that's just my guess. Ella says, what is Terry Silver's IQ? That's a great thing. He won't share it, with us. But obviously you can see it's very high. He's extremely intelligent. Hayden Schlossberg, who is co-creator of Cobra Kai, who, is a writer for the show, he knows Terry very well. And, he says that he's Terry is like one of the smartest characters, on the show. But he could be even beyond that. I'm guessing whatever, if 100 is an average IQ, I'm guessing that Terry Silver's, oh gosh, he's probably over 170. Okay, so Zaround says Terry knew that Daniel stood no chance even with the training. Yeah, it's true. He did. He did know that, but he gave Daniel his best shot. He gave him the knowledge that Daniel needed to win, but unfortunately, the only way Daniel could win was by cheating, by using the kata at the end, which is, that's too bad. He couldn't win by fighting. He had to do something, by cheating. It's very un-Miyagi, I think. Ethan says, many people wonder if Terry Silver will go to jail for beating up Stingray, but many forget he is rich and could easily afford bail. I wonder how long he'll be in Cobra Kai. Well, yeah, that's a very good point, because it's long been said in Karate Kid 3 that Terry Silver has such influence over, say, the DA. In Karate Kid 3, it was DA Willie Cole, who I'm not saying if I'm related to Willie Cole, and I'm not saying if Willie Cole is related to Tom Cole that we've seen in Cobra Kai. If you're interested and you want to know the answer, go ahead and watch Cobra Cole. I've got a link in the description. But Terry Silver, being a smart person, a powerful person, is allies with the law enforcement apparatus, whether it be the district attorney, whether it be the police. So really, I don't think Terry Silver has much of a threat to face from the police department. If he is arrested by some mistake, I'm sure that would be rectified quickly, and all the officers involved would be arrested themselves. Let's see. Elis, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct, says, are the students at Terry Silver's dojo going to leave when Terry introduces them to the Quicksilver method and forces them to hit a tree and hurt themselves? Well, I don't know, because, as we've said before, Quicksilver works. It's truth. And I think at a certain point as a fighter, I'm not even saying I'm at that level, but as a fighter, you have to go that extra mile to be tougher, to be truly a master. And if the Quicksilver method works, or another version of the Quicksilver method works, I think any student worth their salt would stick with that. And if they don't, maybe they're not true Cobra Kai material. From the trailer, though, I will say it does look like Kim Da-eun is training Tori on something that looks like the Quicksilver method. It might be a method used by the Kim school of fighting that might be even tougher than Quicksilver. So we'll have to see. AZ is saying, how are you, my man? I am doing great. And for everyone who's just joining us now, we're celebrating Independence Day weekend here in the United States. It's an important weekend for us here in America, but also for someone like Terry Silver. Now, remember, Terry Silver was a veteran, and he went through a lot of unspeakable things for this country. And so this is an especially important holiday for Terry Silver. And so we're using this as an example using Terry Silver as an example of how we can be better citizens in America, or citizens for our own country. And we're reflecting on the positive aspects of Terry Silver and how he could positively influence all of us. And of course, we're looking forward to his reappearance in Cobra Kai season 5. Let's see. Melissa asks, how do you think that Chosen versus Silver will go down in your own opinion? Well, this is a question that a lot of people have brought up, and perhaps I'll do a video on this. I think when you think about it for about 5 seconds, you realize Terry Silver will win. Okay, so next, Dawn says Quicksilver isn't completely true. Van Damme couldn't see, and he still fought and won in Bloodsport. Yeah, it's true. I don't know. I don't know about that. Van Damme is, maybe he's a special case, or maybe, maybe he that whole Kumite or whatever is just not, those fighters just are chumps, I don't know. But I think, though, if Terry Silver were facing Van Dam, I mean, you know that Van Dam is going down. I mean, you just know that. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough to say, but I think intellectually, you can see that. Well, maybe you can't see if you've suffered the Quicksilver method, but if someone can't see, it's going to be very hard for them to fight. And without pulling on some kind of supernatural whatever, next Karate Kid, Julie Pierce, whatever. That's not real. You don't have to worry about that. Not if you're Terry Silver. You know how to capitalize on if someone's vision impaired. AZ says, is Chosen actually going to return and team up with Daniel and Johnny to beat Terry? And is there a chance for Kreese to escape jail? Yeah, I think, honestly, putting Terry Silver aside, I think all of those scenarios are very possible. And everyone says like Daniel and Johnny beat Terry. Okay. But the thing is, if I'm kind of hoping that Daniel and Johnny realize that Terry knows what he's doing, and maybe they don't have to fight Terry. Maybe they can team up to fight against Kreese, because really Kreese is the one responsible for all this. I mean, this is all very ridiculous for Kreese to have pushed, trying to manipulate these kids for so long. Terry just wants to expand the positive presence of martial arts in the Valley. That's all he wants. And he's done everything up to this point to guarantee that. And really what's happened, I mean, the only reason he attacked Johnny was because of Kreese, right? So now Kreese is out of the picture. And, Terry, I think people will realize that Terry's really got good intentions, right? So Terry Silver still cheated at the tournament, no lie about it. He bent the rules. I can't deny that. But look at what he did, though. He's paved the way. It was a guarantee, right? It was just a guarantee that he'd win because so much was riding on it. And so he knew he had to do that so that he could take over the Valley and spread Cobra Kai. So it was worth it, I think. Like, if you look at Terry's grand plan for what he wants to do, I mean, you got to admit, that's pretty exciting. You're going to have lots of kids who will know how to fight lethally, right? That's a skill. So Gary says, Terry Silver is my favorite because I was just like him, scared of everything, then became stronger and fearless. Exactly. And how beautiful is it for John, Josh, and Hayden to put the flashback in season 3, where we saw Terry initially. He was scared. He was petrified. He was in these horrible situations, which, by the way, we have to thank him as a veteran, and obviously all veterans on Independence Day who fought for our freedom. But he was in a horrible situation and was scared, but he changed. He conquered that. He became fearless. And those of us who are afraid for whatever reason, those of us who are picked on, we can become fearless too. We can follow Terry's example and not only be fearless, but we can conquer. Perhaps even conquer the world. So it is inspiring, Gary, isn't it? I totally agree. Party Cat asks, who do you think can beat Terry Silver other than Mr. Miyagi or Chosen? Well, I'm not so sure Chosen can beat Terry Silver, but we'll have to see. I did do a video. You guys might want to check it out about how Sato might have been a bit overrated. So if that's the case, then, it's possible Chosen didn't get as good of instruction as Terry got from Kim Sun-young. And remember that Terry is teaming up with someone who could be, say, the granddaughter or relative of Kim Sun-young in Kim Da-eun. So if you've got those two working together, I know people have brought up, well, maybe Chosen will fall in love with Kim Da-eun. And I mean, that's possible, and that's going to mess things up, of course. That would be something. But yeah, I'm not so sure anyone could beat Terry Silver. Not so sure. So I guess we'll have to see. Maybe I'll do a video on that. Ethan says, I think Terry Silver is the epitome of what a con artist is. He's very manipulative and cunning to try to win people over to get whatever he wants. Yes. And that's something I made a video on, is Terry Silver a psychopath? And really, according to the research by Dr. Hare, a lot of pretty much all psychopaths are con artists in some way. They're really good because they don't have guilt. They don't, they're aware of society's rules, but they don't care. And so they're very good at manipulating to get what they want. They're very shameless. And so it's very possible if Terry Silver's a psychopath that, yes, he is a con artist. And, we've seen that behavior in Karate Kid 3 and in Cobra Kai. He's not who he says he is. He's pretty dangerous, but maybe that's how he survived, over the year. Maybe that's how he survived in the army. Maybe that's how he survived after the army. And, you see that lesson that he gives all the students in Cobra Kai about, it's about what your enemy thinks of you. That's, make them think about you, what you want them to think, or let them think you're weak. Right. And that's, in a way, kind of a con artist approach to it, but it works, and, maybe that's what Terry has to do to survive. That's what aligns with his own brain chemistry. And that's what works. So, as long as he's not bad to people who don't deserve it, then it's not bad. Right. Right. Micah says, don't you think Kreese is going to end up being the good guy, savior of the show? Yeah, it's possible. I'm not sure. The showrunners are fans of Terry Silver, so maybe they realize that John Kreese really, he thinks of himself as good, but he's maybe a little bit misguided, and maybe not as competent as Terry Silver. And maybe we don't need Kreese to save anything. Maybe he just needs to come to an agreement with Johnny and Daniel, and maybe Kreese would apologize to them, and maybe Kreese would apologize to Terry Silver. I mean, look at how much Kreese has been manipulating Terry over the years, right? And maybe that time in jail will help him realize how great a patriot Terry Silver is, how smart he is, and how Terry was right all along, because he's bringing Cobra Kai to a new level that, let's be honest, Kreese could never do. He never could do that. Terry gave him the keys to the dojo, right? But Kreese couldn't make it happen. So now Terry had to take over, and he's just making it happen. So hopefully Kreese can realize that how he was well-intentioned, but just he couldn't pull it off. So Phineas, he got to be trolling. Yeah. I don't know if that's me, but I'm totally serious, guys. I'm totally serious. And consider this question: how has Terry Silver inspired you to be a better person? We've had some great answers. It's great talking with you guys in the chat. Peter says, Ken, I will not stand this chosen slander. Well, and the thing is this, Peter from Cobra Kai Companion, Peter's an expert on Chosen. He's a Chosen fan, and I am too. I like Chosen, and it's tough for me, but we have to talk about what are the raw tools as far as like fighting and intelligence. What do we have here with Chosen? And yeah, he's a reasonably bright guy. I don't know if he's a super genius like Terry Silver, but we do have the question of Sato. How good is Sato? Right. And I refer everyone to my video. Sato might have been overrated. He obviously didn't teach Chosen all of Miyagi-Do. There's lots of lessons that Chosen didn't seem to know at the time. We don't know if Chosen maybe learned something from other teachers. I guess what I'm saying is Chosen's kind of like a mystery. If Terry Silver learned directly from Kim Sun-young, though, Hayden has said that Kim Sun-young is on the same level as Miyagi, those two. And he specifically did not mention Sato. So I have to think that, Chosen, great guy, great fighter, but I sometimes, even if someone's great, you have to recognize the superiority of someone else. And I think that's Terry Silver. Okay, Zoran says Daniel and Johnny can both beat Terry Silver if it's a fair fight. Johnny would have won if Silver had not ambushed him in the dojo, and Daniel is about equal in ability to Johnny, so he also beats Terry. I don't know. I think that's a case of Terry Silver just having fun. Like, he wanted to inflict pain. And, people people forget that. You know, if you're going to be an enemy of Terry Silver, if that's what you're going to choose to do, Terry Silver will inflict pain on you, and he's going to enjoy it. That's why you want to be friends with Terry Silver, right? So in this case, I don't think so. Like, I think Silver kind of beat Johnny handily, you know, and made it look easy. I respect both Daniel and Johnny, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I can agree with this respectfully. But you know, we'll see. I think maybe if you put Daniel and Johnny together against Silver, maybe so. But you know, again, Silver not only has the skills, he's also very smart. He's probably smarter than both Daniel and Johnny put together. I know, but it's true. And I just want to say that even though this whole Independence Day KenCast is about Terry Silver and how wonderful he is, and I know we played the Dynatox promo, this live stream is in no way influenced or paid for by Terry Silver or any of his entities. In no way. Every opinion I'm offering today is my own. And the last thing I would want to be is a shill for Terry Silver. Okay. All of these opinions are my own. And absolutely, 100%. Peter says, from Cobra Kai Companion says, become close to Terry that you call him Terror Bear. Oh, right. Yes. Peter's referencing the Christmas party. That's also, you can watch in Cobra Cole. So definitely check that out in the description. I made a goof, and I gave him kind of the wrong Christmas present. And yeah, there's a whole incident with Terror Bear, and you know, we're working through that. I'm working through that right now. It's not life ending, but just know that if you run into Terry Silver, you can call him Terry. Definitely first call him Mr. Silver. And then if he says it's okay, you could call him Terry or Terrence, but don't get more familiar than that. Don't call him Terror Bear, even if it's like a harmless joke. There we go. Roundtable says Terry Silver easily beats Johnny. Yes, that's my opinion. That's my opinion as well. And Ethan says he already did. Yes. And you know, that's nothing against Johnny, but you know, think about Johnny. He's a great fighter, but what his training has mostly come from John Kreese. And you know, it doesn't look like he's trained much over the years. And look how good Johnny is. You know, he's equal with Daniel, and Daniel's trained with Mr. Miyagi well beyond high school. So, you know, Johnny's a good fighter, but my goodness, Terry Silver, clearly better fighter than John Kreese, at least at this point. And John Kreese was Johnny's primary teacher. So I think if Terry had taught Johnny, or if Kim Sun-young or maybe Kim Da-eun had taught Johnny, you know, Johnny could be up there. But yeah, unfortunately for Johnny, he just hasn't had that benefit of that level of instruction. But he's got heart, so you know, I'd never count Johnny out. Melissa Paz says Terry the Terrible. Yep, he is, and that's the thing. You want to be friends with Terry. You don't want to be enemies with Terry. Be friends with Terry. He's probably one of the best friends you could have. You know, Terry Silver. You know, and let's bring us back to Independence Day. So it's the 4th of July coming up on Monday. We're all going to be shooting off fireworks in the United States. We're going to be having fun, having a few drinks, getting together with family and friends. I'm happy to be able to celebrate with all of you right now. This is great. And so think about America. You know, think about the red, white, and blue, the flag. Think about all the generations of presidents, soldiers, people who have, you know, worked for the government, patriots, people who have worked for law enforcement, right? Think about all these people that make up America, and think about all those qualities that Terry Silver shows that, you know, we can admire, that if we used some of those qualities. And I made a video called Why Terry Silver Rocks. And if we remember in that video, he's what? He's very intelligent. He's smart. He's talented. Obviously in Cobra Kai, we see that he's musically talented. He's very much interested in arts and literature. He's excellent in business. He's wonderful in public speaking. He teaches very well. He's inspiring. He can, he's into fashion, right? He understands what makes a good impression personally, and he's also great at public speaking. It's this combination of talent, fighting skill, charisma, persuasion. I mean, he's almost like the ideal embodiment of what we would want to be as good Americans and who we'd want as a leader. Right. Right. So that's why I'm asking this question. How has Terry Silver inspired you to be a better person? Jorge says, if we're calling Terry Terror Bear, can we call Creasy? I would say go for it. I would now, while he's in jail, maybe test that out. So go visit him while he's in jail, and there's a layer of bars between you guys, and try and call him Creasy, and see if he gets angry. If not, let us know, and maybe he'll let us all call him Creasy. AZ says, I wonder if there will be a twist in the series related to the kids helping Johnny and Daniel in a way. Yeah. I think that's, and we're praising Terry Silver, and, we also love Daniel and Johnny, in their own way. We understand that there's miscommunication and baggage, and we know some people like Daniel can't let stuff go. But we admire Daniel and Johnny. And so I think it's very possible that the kids, the young characters will help Daniel and Johnny get through whatever they need to. I'm sure that there's going to be a point which they'll show their appreciation back to them, to their mentors, and help them out. And I hope that involves, making a super peace agreement with Cobra Kai and Terry Silver. Amazing if everyone just joined forces, right? Against what? I don't know. Bullying? It would be amazing if somehow they could all come together. We'll see. I think there's a lot that Daniel and Johnny could learn from Terry Silver. Ethan, what's Terry Silver's net worth? It's tough to know. I'm not saying I've looked into this myself in depth, but obviously we know that he's had multiple companies over the years. He inherited his father's company, but then he had multiple new ventures, one of which was Dynatox, which was dealing with waste disposal. But then he also founded foundations. He's a philanthropist. And so he's funding Cheyenne, or he did fund Cheyenne's app. At least, I think, did it turn out to be a dud? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. But so we know that he has a lot of money. He has worldwide influence. He owns, obviously, his seaside place, but he might still own his Ennis house. He might own private islands. He could own property in Tahiti or anywhere in French Polynesia. We just don't know. So if you watch Cobra Cole, my cousin Tom, maybe Tom Cole, mentions that he's worth more than Denmark. So that's possible. So check out Cobra Cole. Let me know what you think, as far as like what his net worth might be. Let's see. Detective Bat says Terry inspired me to flip script in my life. Yeah, he does that. It's like Johnny has that phrase of flipping the script, but Terry Silver, like, he's a master of reinventing himself. He knows how to flip the script. And so I think that's a great way for us. I mean, that gets back to America and our Constitution. We set up the Constitution in this country to be a living document, right? And I think the founding fathers came up with this idea of amendments to the Constitution, where we have these certain amendments, but we can always add more, amend. We can change it. We can flip the script, right? So amendments are founding fathers' way of flipping the script. So in that way, Terry Silver, he exemplifies America and what we should do. And that should be an inspiration to all of us in flipping the script in our own lives. Josh says, I think first the scene with Terry and Kreese is based first meeting between Thomasine Griffith and John Hurwitz in 2017 when John told them he was writing a series called Cobra Kai. That's so funny. Well, I think that's hilarious, Josh. But my understanding of that moment is that Thomasine Griffith was obviously curious, but wanted to hear what the plan was for Terry, because my understanding is Thomasine Griffith was very interested in the fact that John, Josh, and Hayden had this plan, that it wasn't just, say, a cameo, or it wasn't just kind of a one-dimensional portrayal of Terry Silver, that this Terry Silver had nuance. And so I think it's that moment. So I don't know if he was like as suspicious or angry as Terry Silver was with John Kreese, but I think that's a funny idea, though. That's cool. Thank you for the comments, guys. I'm getting inspired reading all of your comments. Zaround says most characters would beat young Terry. Young Terry, and is this maybe during the war, like Twig era Terry? Young Terry was a rival. To Daniel LaRusso and Wimpiness. He got a lot of training over the years before the events of Karate Kid 3. That's a good point. And I'm hoping we learn a lot more about the training that Terry Silver got. And I'm wondering if that came from Master Kim, related to the new character, she could be a Master, Kim Daun. Melissa asks, do you think that Tori will leave Cobra Kai this season, or do you think that she will stay and continue to train under Silver? Well, this brings up a great point. People talk about Terry Silver being a master manipulator, but if you look at the series, who else is a master manipulator? Yeah, I know who you're thinking. Amanda, right? Amanda LaRusso. And look at how Amanda LaRusso got into Tori's head in season 4. So I think if Tori ends up leaving Cobra Kai, it'll be because Amanda LaRusso got into her brain, right? Just the way that kind of Terry Silver weaseled his way into Daniel's brain as kind of like a quasi mentor father figure. It's possible that Amanda did the same. She weaseled her way into Tori's brain, being a mother figure. So I think that's, the only way, because if Tori's thinking clearly, she knows that she's on the winning side with Cobra Kai. Right. So we'll see. Mr. Energy says Terry Silver for president. Yes, absolutely. Mr. Energy, you might be involved in the energy industry. That is an industry that Terry Silver is very well acquainted with. And if so, I'm sure you know better than everyone else just how powerful he is. You've seen that whole other side of Terry Silver, and you see all those great business qualities, leadership qualities, all that intelligence. Peter says the first scene with Silver and Kreese in 401 was inspired by Major League. Oh, yes. Okay, so this is interesting, guys. If you guys have never seen the movie Major League, it is a classic 80s movie. That was actually explored by Drew Rohaley, comes on here along with Badway. They're the co-hosts of the Last Row podcast. They did a whole episode on Major League. So if you haven't seen it, if there's a way to see it, I don't know if it's on streaming or whatever, check out Major League and tell us what you think in the comments down below, how that relates to Cobra Kai episode 401. Thank you, Peter. Terry Silver for president. What if all of this was in Canada? Well, as I understand, our viewers from Canada, yesterday was Canada Day. I think Terry would, maybe there's a little more of a barrier to influence and world domination in Canada. I guess you'd have to go through the British constitutional monarchy. Maybe I don't know if they're as easy to sway as the American government, but I think he could still be as influential in Canada. And obviously he could have served Canada in the military as well. So yeah, it could be. So Canadians, it's possible very possible Terry Silver could have come from Canada as well as the United States. Around. If you think of manipulation as a superpower, Amanda uses her powers for good, and Kreese and Silver use them for evil. Well, that's a great point, Zaround. And let's explore this idea of good and evil. And I'll put that comment back up there. So Terry Silver, we think as being evil, but why? Why? I think it's because we have sympathy for people that get in Terry Silver's way. Right? If we're friends with Terry Silver, I think we see those people as obstacles. Those people are antagonists. Daniel, Johnny, all those pesky kids. And Amanda, they're antagonists. They're obstacles to what Terry Silver wants to accomplish for his own good and therefore the greater good. So I think it really depends on your point of view, as Obi-Wan Kenobi would say. I think if you think of Terry Silver using manipulation for evil, think about it as him using it for good, his good. And maybe you might see Amanda as using hers for evil. Josh says, I think the real brumation was Terry, not Kreese. 100% agree. And you can tell that, I'm not saying, Kreese is a good guy, but, we know Terry is way smarter. And I mean, come on. Terry taught Kreese about brumation. 99%. All this scientific stuff, all this whatever, Terry knew that, and he taught Kreese that. So Kreese is kind of just using ideas he found, he kind of pulled, to try to impress people. But Terry's the one, I bet, who taught Kreese about the concept of brumation. And, so I think you're right. Terry's the one who was behind that, and he's the master of brumation. So we'll see what happens. AZ says, I think Terry would defeat Johnny and Daniel in a snap without the help of anyone. Maybe Chosen, Kreese, or Miguel could be the key to the lock. Right. And, we could see this. And those of us who are Terry Silver fans, I think we have to brace for the idea that it's possible that 3 or 4 of these people could team up against Terry, and I think that's what's going to take him down. They might do it. They might feel it's justified, but I guarantee you, if Terry Silver gets taken down, it's not going to be a fair one-on-one fight. There are going to be many people fighting him at once. So yeah, well, I guess we'll have to watch for that. Cobra Kai Nerd says, I think Terry's planning on making Cobra Kai a global thing. And how glorious would that be? A global thing. It's wonderful. Teaching skills to people around the planet. Self-defense through offense. It's great. Melissa asks, Ken, do you think that we will get an interaction between Amanda and Silver? And if so, how do you think that will go? Well, I think that would be very interesting because, as we've mentioned before, Amanda's really good at manipulating and persuading. Terry Silver is as well. And I think that would be a battle of wits. We know that Terry Silver's older. Terry, that's the thing. He has experience that's so far beyond the San Fernando Valley. He has worldwide experience. He has seen people at their best and their worst. He has been on the absolute top of business and industry. He has even manipulated local karate tournaments, right? So he comes in with high intelligence and a high level of experience and skill. So Amanda's very talented, and a lot of people have suggested that Amanda might be the reason why LaRusso Auto is doing so well, because she's very good at business. But I would expect that Terry could very well teach Amanda a lot. So I would think Terry would win in a manipulation or interaction, and I hope that maybe Terry would convince Amanda that Daniel should join his side. So we'll see what happens. Ben talking about Major League. It is a hilarious movie. That is fun. It's pure 80s. AZ says the man, the myth, the legend. Yes, is Terry Silver. Absolutely. Party Cats by Young Terry. I mean that he was in the army when he seemed really scared. Yes, that's right. Zeround says brumation is not a word. I'm semi-pro Scrabble player, and trust me, it's not in the dictionary. Yeah. Well, maybe that's another reason why, if Terry made it up, maybe he was messing with John Kreese, and John Kreese is passing it off as pure knowledge. Jokes on John Kreese, right? Bryce Productions, great to see you. Hi. Robana. Hi, Ken. I just wish you a happy 4th of July, even though I'm Canadian. Well, thank you, Robana. I appreciate it. And happy belated Canada Day. I hope you guys have some kind of holiday weekend or a day off work. So Melissa asks, Terry Silver has Miyagi-Do burned down in season 5. It's an interesting theory. It's possible. He might not have to. One thing I love about Terry Silver is if Miyagi-Do needs to be burned down, he'll convince someone, he'll put it in someone else's brain and convince them to do it. So I would think that would happen, preferably his enemy. So maybe he would have Johnny do it. Let's see. Karen says, I'm sorry, but I think if there's one person that could put an end to Silver, I think it's Kreese, but I could be wrong. Right. Well, I would say the one thing Kreese has going for him, even as a Terry Silver fan, is that Kreese knows Terry very well and maybe is keyed into his former weaknesses. And so maybe Kreese could use that against Terry. So that might be the key. Marianella says maybe they will use the papyrus technique against Terry. Yeah. That's fascinating. And I'm wondering if Kim Da-eun, I wonder if there's like some kind of defense for that. That would be fascinating because we've seen Daniel use it against Johnny and Kreese. It's almost like Daniel's getting a little sloppy about when he's using this technique. And I'm wondering if there's actually a defense against it. So let's see. Eliza says, what do you envision for the series finale of Cobra Kai, especially as it relates to Silver? Wow. I think that's really tough to say at this point because we don't know right now how many seasons there will be. I'm pretty confident that there's going to be at least a season 6. I am hoping, this isn't based on anything I've heard, but I'm hoping that right now they're negotiating maybe a package season 6 and 7 together so that maybe season 7 being the last season. But I don't know. I'm just hoping they do the same thing. Like obviously they knew when they made season 4 that there would be a season 5. So they were able to plan and write for that. I'm hoping something similar will happen there. But hey, if it goes on, if they have more story to tell beyond 7, 8 seasons, that's fine with me. Cause John, Josh, and Hayden, that entire crew, obviously they know what they're doing. They make a great show. So we'll see. I think that's really tough. I'm hoping that Terry Silver doesn't die. I know that that's kind of like a big thing now, like in serialized shows that villains or so-called villains need to die. I hope that doesn't happen. If the writers are watching, not that they should be influenced by me, a humble Terry fan, but I'm hoping there's a way that they can end the series with Terry still being around. Because as we're talking about today, he has so much good to offer the world. It would be a shame if he's gone, right? So, okay, Zaround brings up, I think Mike Barnes will be the most formidable villain and depose Silver and be the final and most deadly villain in the show. It's interesting because we don't know what's happened with Mike Barnes. He was very young and he was very good when he was very young. So if he kept up fighting, if he kept training, he could be one of the most lethal fighters. And so I think that's entirely possible. And he could be a major threat for Terry, and they might not be on good terms. Party Cat says, happy 4th of July, even though I'm Lebanese. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone watching from around the world. And obviously we're having fun with the idea of the 4th of July and Terry Silver. But I appreciate the well wishes. It's a fun weekend for us here in the United States. We get a day off work and we get to celebrate with fireworks and connect with those good parts of America, including being grateful for, everyone who's fought for this country and everyone who works for this country and tries to make this country better. And it's good to remember that at least once a year, because sometimes people can get you down. Sometimes, politics and events going on in the country can kind of get you down. So it's good to reconnect with those ideals, hopefully, that we keep striving for. Josh says, in my opinion, Daniel was a little Terry Silver with Johnny a few episodes in season 1. LaRusso used his power like local businessman to destroy Johnny's Cobra Kai. You're right. And I think Terry Silver was very smart and insightful to say to Daniel that, you've always had a little Cobra Kai in you. And he's probably right. So I'm wondering if we'll see that explored a bit more in season 5. If Daniel maybe kind of like falls to the dark side a bit more, we'll see. Wendell, hi Wendell. I'd be happy if Silver fought Daniel and Johnny at the same time and got the upper hand, only to be interrupted by Chosen. Their fight could end in a stalemate. Crazy, I know, but I think it sounds fun. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible that the fights, and we had Strife the Warrior on a few weeks ago, and he made a really good point that the way the fights appear in Cobra Kai, it's never a fully structured, fair fight. You know, there's always some variable to it. There's always something that's different that you can't say so-and-so is better than so-and-so. There's always going to be some surprise thing, whether it's like someone cheating or other people arriving or like a situational advantage. So I would expect something like that to happen, and it could end in a stalemate. So we'll have to see what happens. AZ. Okay. Happy 4th of July. I had fun. I'm going. See, hey, God, thank you so much. And actually, guys, I didn't even realize we've been going on so long. I think I might wrap it up here in the next 5 minutes. Thank you guys for joining us today and talking about Terry Silver. It's just kind of a relaxing appreciation day. And, you know, when you're celebrating, if you're in America, if you're celebrating the 4th of July this weekend, you know, think about Terry. And he represents probably what America, a lot of people would consider the American dream, right? He fought bravely, you know, for the United States. He, you know, you might not agree with his methods, but he certainly rose through the ranks, became dominant in business. He is pursuing his dream right now. He's opening Cobra Kai dojos. He's bringing in talent from around the world. You know, these are all great qualities. And I think at the very least, it should inspire all of us to pursue what we want and to conquer, you know. So reflect on that on this 4th of July. And I appreciate everyone who has joined in the comments today. It's so much fun talking with all of you. We're looking forward to future KenCasts, and we're going to have some returning favorites. I am going to be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because I'm going to be having some fun videos coming up. We're definitely going to get Drew, the Cobra Kai kid, on here. We're going to talk about Kai tunes. Check those out. And also the entire behind the scenes experience with the Enter the Dojo concert, which was amazing. And also I have a big video coming out, kind of like an analysis video, having to do with Cobra Kai and Star Wars. So I think if you're interested in either one of those franchises, you'll really get a kick out of this new video. So definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you, everyone. I love hearing from you. We are trying to do these KenCasts every week. Let me know in the comments below if this ends, what time works for you. I think I'm going to do this time at least every week, Saturday at 3 Eastern, 12 Pacific, with possible supplemental episodes, live streams at different times in the week. But if you have like some kind of request on a time, let me know. YouTube tells me when most of you are on, and that tends to be around sort of the noon hour here on the West Coast. So, but let me know if there's another time that works great for you. But it's wonderful seeing you all. I hope you all have a great 4th of July if you celebrate. If you don't, around the world, I hope you have a great, relaxing weekend. And in the coming weeks, I'm sure we'll hear more about Cobra Kai Season 5. And keep it tuned here to my channel for lots of great new content and updates. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. If you haven't seen it, check out Cobra Cole. That is right there. That's the poster for Cobra Cole, designed by Mark Kerr. Links in the description. And if you like Bigfoot for whatever reason, I think Bigfoot's a fun idea. Check out Bigfoot and Me, my new short. That's also linked in the description. So great seeing you all. And I look forward to seeing you again next week on